I rise, Mr Deputy Speaker, to speak in favour of the motion as laid before the House today. Mr Speaker, the UK that Scotland voted to remain part of in 2014 is gone. Brexit has seen to that. The security and the freedoms of our place in the EU, as promised with that no vote, is gone. Brexit has seen to that. The financial stability of the broad shoulders of the UK has gone. Brexit continues to see to that, and of course the previous Prime Minister and our Chancellor assisted that in quite spectacular fashion for all the world to see. The Tory cost of living crisis is spiralling, completely out of control. It's putting lives and livelihoods at risk, with our poorest households in our communities being hit the hardest of all. The reality is we can no longer afford not to be independent in Scotland. As things stand, Mr Deputy Speaker, the poorest people in the UK are the poorest people in the whole of Western Europe, while the richest in the UK are the most wealthiest in the whole of Western Europe. That's right, folks. The poorest people in Western Europe are in London, they're not in Lisbon, and they're not in Larne. And the hardest working and the poorest paid with the poorest pensions, they're in Belsill, they're not in Berlin, and they're not in Bern. That gap, Mr Deputy Speaker, that figure between the richest and the poorest tells us all we need to know about this right-wing Tory government and their priorities, all after 12 painful years in power. 15, if you remember the coalition of chaos with the Liberal Democrats. Economy broken, NHS decimated, immigration out of control, standing in the world laughingstock. It is quite a shameful record. And if they have any desire at all to change it and ease the pressures on Scottish households, then it is imperative that this government uprates also social security benefits in line with the current rates of inflation. We, as representatives of the people, all of us in this House, must do all we possibly can to support the most vulnerable through this cost of living crisis. The Tories must ensure that universal credit uplift is reinstated for all, is increased to £25 per week, and that they extend it to all those people who have been left on legacy benefits like some kind of Tory afterthought, not worthy of their attention. And we must also protect our pensioners. This government's triple lock betrayal in relation to the state pension is an undiluted attack on pensioners' incomes. Again, today, the Prime Minister refused the opportunity to give them some peace of mind by committing to that triple lock. Those same pensioners who are the poorest in Western Europe, with the lowest pensions, and who are among the most hard hit with this cost of living crisis. Over a decade of Tory policies have pushed people deeper into poverty, further into destitution, and families are out there right now fighting hunger. This is the Union.
Honourable Frank Goodway.
I will, thank you.
He's making a very powerful speech, and he was talking about those people fighting poverty. Would he agree with me it's a disgrace that because of the actions of this place and Brexit, that we've seen food inflation pushed to such high levels where we now see basic items at 60% up on a few years ago? It's just really hard for people to survive in those circumstances, isn't it?
I thank the honourable gentleman for his intervention. It doesn't matter what area, whether it's food, whether it's housing increases, whether it's mortgage rates. We are being attacked from every single possible angle, and this government is sitting on its hands. And what they're doing is rearranging the chairs on a sinking ship every now and again, and it is doing no good for the people out there. The last few months, Mr Deputy Speaker, have made it abundantly clear Scotland cannot rely on this UK government as we attempt to get Scotland through this cost of living crisis. It is vital that we have a choice, and the choice is thus: we can choose the insular chaos of this place, we can choose to continue to live amid the ruins of this broken union and among the self-destructive whims of these two parties, or we can choose a different way. We can choose to be free from the perennial damage of Brexit, the worst of which is still to bite. We can have the choice of what priorities are for the Scottish people, the choice of how we plan and deliver on our green future, on how we treat the most vulnerable in our communities. As I said, no person is illegal. Nope. And of course, the choice for the Scottish people to determine their own futures free of Westminster rule. We can choose... Yes, I will.
thank the honourable gentleman for giving way, and he is making a very, very powerful and impassioned speech. I wondered if he shares my deep disappointment that the Labour Party in Scotland would rather work with the Tories to keep Scottish households locked into this destructive union rather than help Scotland work towards a better future when it governs its own affairs.
I thank the honourable lady for her intervention. I agree with every single word she said. I'm here from North Lanarkshire. Labour talk about no coalitions. Labour in North Lanarkshire Council are being propped up not only by Conservatives in North Lanarkshire but by a sole British Unionist politician. That is the Labour Party, and they can play two sides of the same coin because they have to appeal to the Tory voters down here to squeeze a couple of them across to get through the door. Would you like to intervene? Yeah? But no, he's no. I will continue. I'll continue on. We can choose, Mr. Speaker, I was talking about choices. We can choose to be a member of the European Union. We can choose our independence, and with that, Scotland could be part of a huge single market, which is seven times the size of this shrinking UK market. If we look north to Norway, its national income per head is around 48% higher than that of the UK's. Ireland's 45% higher. Denmark 30% higher. The Netherlands 25% higher. Austria 24% higher. All comparable nations to our wee bit of Hill and Glen. If he wants to go on his feet, he can. If he's going to chunter, sit down and keep quiet, and we'll get on with it. Okay? Through the membership of the European Union, please do.
On looking north to Norway and on the Union, I've just got some stats here. I tell you who looks north to Norway. It's probably Orkney at the moment. Orkney voted against devolution in 1997. Orkney voted against independence. Orkney has never voted for the SNP, and Orkney has a government it's never voted for, and it's in Holyrood. Should they have independence?
Don't be silly.
I think the gentleman has made some pretty ridiculous points that I won't entertain. I'm going to move quickly on because Mr. Speaker has really pushed for time, and so am I. I mentioned through that membership of the European Union, independent Ireland has dramatically reduced its trade dependency on the UK. It's diversifying itself into Europe, and in the process, its national income per head has once again overtaken that of the United Kingdom. Scotland simply cannot afford to be part of the UK any longer. The positive case for the Union has evaporated. Now is the time to leave the broken Westminster system behind, Mr Deputy Speaker, to have our full powers of independence so that we can begin to set Scotland on the right path. And just finally, and I want to make this perfectly clear, the reality is that the Better Together No campaign, of which these two parties cozied up to each other, was based on lies, and it was built on fear. For that, Brexit and its ramifications on our freedoms has rendered the 2014 referendum out of date, and quite simply, to the people I represent, the result is no longer valid. No government in this place, not Tory, not Labour, offers Scotland's people a route back into Europe. They both back Brexit, well, we back Scotland, and the only route back to Europe for Scotland is for the Scottish independence.